How do you stay consistent even when you're mentally done? I often talk about how unimportant, if that's a word, is willpower and motivation, how they're not really as useful as your environment. But there will be times where you're mentally completely exhausted. You might be traveling, you might be sick. How do you get work done and be consistent then? The thing with consistency is that it's super relevant and super important. There might be a lot of important things in life: your health, your wealth, your wisdom, your willpower, your environment. None of that is as important as just being consistent and showing up every single day. Almost all successful people, the definition of success can be subjective. Regardless of what your definition is, all successful people get there because of consistency. And now we're going to talk about three important things in this entire video to understand how to be consistent. Number one is consistency depends on systems, not on mood. I am a very exorbitant guy. I do things up and down. I have crazy ideas. I act on my impulses. But all of that is independent of my system. My system is already predetermined to get me to my success, and I follow my systems religiously. That system helps me stay consistent. For example, not eating food after 1 p.m. is a system I built. This stops me from smoking. This helps me go to gym. This helps me have a better mood. This helps me sleep better. This stops me from being distracted from my work. This one system has changed my life. Now, you might build your own systems depending on your own definition of successes and goals, but system is the only method for you to stay consistent consistently instead of depending on your versatile moods. Number two, and this is very, I would say, magical. This is something no one talks about. It's very deep. Never self-negotiate. Now, what do I mean by self-negotiate? I'll give you an example of smoking again. I have been smoking for almost 7 years. I quit 10 months back. And every time before that I tried quitting, I would make the mistake of self-negotiating. The unfortunate thing is that I debate really well. I communicate really well. So every time I see a properly rolled marijuana in front of me, I would want to smoke. And the problem then becomes is that I have decided I'll not smoke. I've quit smoking. The issue here is I start self-negotiating. I'm a good debater. Gurmeet, it's okay. It doesn't have tobacco in it. Gurmeet, it's okay. Just take a small detour and get back to your habit again. Gurmeet, it's okay. You exercise every single day. You eat healthy. You sleep healthy. You will balance it out by smoking. Gurmeet, it's okay. You can live till 80 years. You don't have to live till 100 years, right? I start self-negotiating. And this is a deep root problem of breaking your consistency and being addicted. This is something therapists talk about, very high-level therapists, and I'm giving it to you away for free. Never, ever self-negotiate. Self-negotiation always leads to sabotaging yourself. The same thing happens with sugar as well. Most people are addicted to sugar. They want to have a cake and they've decided they'll never have sugar. Problem is they start self-negotiating. I'll not have it tomorrow. It's just a small detour. It's okay. It's just one piece of cake. I will exercise after this. They start negotiating and that destroys the consistency. Now, these things are addiction. And addiction is something we all understand deeply. Now, imagine business. Imagine big ambitions you've got. Imagine you want to make $1 million a day. To get to that, there is just one path, and that path requires you to be consistent every single day. And then the mistake of self-negotiation comes in that sabotages everything. It's okay. If I don't get to my goal in 5 years, I'll get there in 5 years and 1 month extra. For 1 month, let me take a detour. That destroys an entire consistent path and it stops compounding. The thing with consistency is that it brings in exponential growth. Now, what does exponential growth mean? I'll take the example of my Instagram channel. I had been making content for 1 year there and I went from 0 to 600 followers. For 1 year, I posted over 100 plus videos and I only got to 600 followers. But the exponential growth came in 1 year, 6th month, where on that 6th month, after 1 year already, 1.6 years, I suddenly went from 600 to 15k followers. So all the hard work that I had put in for 1 year and 6 months gave me all the followers on that one night. That is called exponential growth. But exponential growth, unfortunately, only works if you're consistently doing something. If your consistency is broken, the compounding stops and you won't get exponential growth. And self-negotiating is one of the most commonly noticeable thing that people do to break and sabotage their consistency. This is something I guess new for all of you. Never ever self-negotiate. And this goes especially for entrepreneurs and also it works with addictions. So we've understood that consistency comes through systems and not moods. Never self-negotiate. And finally, I've forgotten the point. I've written it here. Discipline can only work if you enforce it on yourself. Like, this is very important. I'm glad I wrote this down. This is something that took me a long time to figure out. It's something experienced people who are disciplined understand, that discipline cannot come from within. Discipline has to be enforced. Now, how do you enforce discipline? There are three common methods that I use. Number one is rewarding yourself. Number two is punishing yourself. And number three is just controlling your environment. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, I want to be disciplined enough to go to gym every single day. Problem is I can't do that. I hate going to gym. It's boring. But I add a reward on it. If I go to gym today morning, I can go out on a date tonight, or I can spend money and buy some clothes for myself. Or I can also punish myself saying that if I don't go to gym, I'm not allowed to go out for a week. I'm grounding myself, right? Third thing is controlling my environment. I create such an environment which forces me to go to gym. If I don't go to gym, my entire day is going to be bad. The gym is a bad example here, but what I instead do is that I have to meditate every single night. If I don't meditate every single night, I tend to have a bad sleep. So I built such an environment that if I don't meditate, I end up having a terrible night's sleep. And when I have a terrible night's sleep, my next day is bad, everything just goes bad, right? So I built an environment for that. So environment, rewarding yourself and punishing yourself is a great way to enforce discipline. The problem here is that most beginners don't understand that discipline doesn't come from within. It has to be enforced. Experienced disciplined people understand that. Now you combine all three of these things. Discipline needs to be enforced, never self-negotiate, and make sure that consistency comes from systems and not mood. When you combine these three things, you will outperform everyone else in your industry, and not just industry, but in life in general. Cheers.